Welcome to another Roads Online Showcase video, M.I.A. edition. Today we are back with my gold supply train. No, this is not a repeat of the last episode. This is actually on my main save now, meaning that the only difference here is the track that I showed you last time, where I ended up sending the train over the edge. That's not being cleared of trees right now, and I think there's a good chance that I'll be removing that track anyways. So today we are actually going to do the supply run. The train is fully loaded, same location as it was last time, so here goes nothing. We're just gonna go and deliver the stuff over to the gold mine. Everything is fully loaded in the right orientation, everything, and I don't really know what I'm gonna do once I get up there, honestly. Gonna be having to figure that one out. I think I want to disconnect the beams from everything else, put that on a different siding, then take care of the other goods and then come back to the beams before turning the engine around. We will have to see how that works. I also don't know if the yard is even long enough to accept all of the cars at once without disconnecting, but we'll see how that goes. I want to get a bit more speed for the run up because I know that this was maybe a bit too much. I know once we hit the 2% grade up here, the train is going to slow back down, so a bit extra momentum might be going a long way. And from this point on, it's basically just going at the full grade, full reverser, and hoping we make it up there. The last time I tried, I think it went alright, but the game is sometimes a bit inconsistent, so not always entirely sure if it's gonna work. And that's also the reason why I'm considering reworking the entire track to 1.5%. I'm just not entirely sure if it would work out the way I want to. So we'll have to see about that. If this turns out to not be a problem, then I don't mind it, but we can already see that we are not exactly at 20 miles per hour anymore, which I think is the full reverser top speed for the engine. And it's just gonna slow down further and further. Since I already showed you guys my older save the last episode, I am considering to implement maybe some stuff from there. Mainly the other track that I showed you. And I need to move over to this one right here. Yeah, there is this whole mountain back switch over from the area where you would originally find the coal mine, or in this case the refinery and smelter, to the other side. And on that other save I had two ways to go down there. First up, like here, a really steep grade. Over here it's actually I think 10%, like going full balls to the wall. But I could also add another switch up here and go with a more measured decline. Like maybe even just 1%, make it exceedingly long, but just come down over here just like that. It would definitely help out supplying the refinery with beams and pipes, I mean. Damn, I was really stuck on that for a moment. But I could also use that to... Oh Jesus, the whole thing is really slowing down if I go to full map view here. If I want to bring the empty stay cars over to get more rails, that might also be a good idea. The thing is, currently for this entire switch over thing here, the direct connection, there's two tracks. First up the 10%, which really only works on the way down. I don't think I need to explain that any further. And then the 2% track. 2% is decently steep for some operations, so it's not always possible. But it also needs a double switchback here, so we have one down here. And then going further down on this end we have another one. And these are also limiting the length of the train that we can use. Especially on this one, I couldn't even make this much longer if I wanted to. The way this entire thing works out, it's just it's running out of mountain. So that would be a massive sky bridge if I make it any longer. This side, I think, would have some problems as well, but a bit less so. Still not amazing, but not that much of a problem either. Okay, we can at least see the iron mine from here. The gold mine might be somewhere over there. No, I think it's that building. But yeah, we are slowing down. We are now below 10 miles. We should make it. But this is the entire thing that I've been talking about. And you saw last episode, once you go to 1.5%, no problem at all. I know that on older versions you could actually press shift if you are changing the grade, and it would allow you to go to 0.25 and 0.75, and I think 1.75 would also be a good grade to attempt here. That might work out pretty much the best, but sadly that option got removed quite a while ago. So no real good way of laying something like that. Oh, actually we are accelerating again. Did we lose some cars or what is going on here? I think I still see the boxcars in the back, so that might not be the problem. I think we just hit the top of that grade and we might just... I don't know, I would have to take a look at the map, and I mean the Railroad Studio map, to see if the top part of the grade is maybe not quite as steep. But I think this is also a good point to cut the power. I'm keeping an eye on whether all of the cars are still attached, because this has been a bit sketchy for me. Okay, maybe that was a bit too early. After all, most of the train is still on some part of the grade. And yeah, first order of the day is moving the train to the other switches where everything connects back together. Just to see if I can actually store everything here on this siding at once. That's going to be very important once I want to leave again. So that I can disconnect everything, move the engine out of the way, get to the turntable, and then reconnect it there. If not, I'm either gonna be running into issues with this end of the train sticking out on those switches and getting in my way, or the same happening with the rear end and the other side. But hey, we made it up here. It was not really all that difficult. Now we come to the more interesting part, and that is how I'm going to deal with the entire setup over here. I just had to double check, but I made sure that on this end, at least the switch for the main track is a two-way switch, so that I don't run into any issues with potentially breaking the entire train here and pushing it off the rails, since that's always going to be auto-adjusting to how I come through here. But yeah, it's about time to hit the brakes, hopefully not compressing any cars to death there. I may need to slightly reverse here. But yeah, for everything to work out, I need to have this end pass the switch in this direction, so that I can get the engine besides that and go on to this track. And I need to be able to get the same going again from the other side. Always gotta be careful about the brakes here, because they still tend to kill the train. But let's take a look here, and this is Jesus. Okay, this needs a few more meters. But honestly, a few more meters are doable. I don't like having to relay some of the track here, because getting this to look nice and line up properly was a bit of work. I don't know if I can do this again at will, but Giving it a single more car length, it's shouldn't be too difficult. Could I do something over here? I mean, we hit a grade here, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Oh yeah, and I was considering maybe having a gradeless runoff over here. I did that for this side, and yeah, it's getting night now. So let me quickly change this over again. For the longest time I was even running without day and night cycle, but I kinda like the light changing a bit. Otherwise it's just too static. So I have a runoff over here without any grade, so that especially for a train this long, I can do what I need, and if I decide to push some cars over here, they're not gonna hit the grade and just run away from me. But yeah, this is... It's so close. I would also have to take another look at this whole thing. I think I want to have 1% grade over here, but it ended up being 1.5% to some degree. So, those were my hands, by the way, if you heard that. I didn't just fart into the microphone. Yeah, anyways. I may need to extend the 1.5% grade over here just to get a bit more run up and make it possible to get everything here sorted out. Because right now I could solve this, but it would involve getting a helper engine just to pull the train ahead a little bit and then being able to connect the engine, the road engine to that end again. So for a few meters, that's really a bad amount of work, just way too much. But maybe I could also handle this in another way. Because what we are going to do now is we are going to disconnect. I really want to do it the other way around. We are going to disconnect the beams and we will put them onto this siding. So just over there, that should do it. And let's move the entire thing ahead a little bit. Should be far easier now because some of the heavier goods are on the other part of the train. Especially the coals and rails. The tools I'm not even that sure about. I don't really care about the weight of the tools. It's never been much of a factor for me. Okay, let's cut the accelerator. Get the map out. And wait for all of the cars to... this is the maximum zoom already. Let's move by, just like that, and... break it in a little bit. Giving it a little push as well. Okay, so how do I do this now? Oh, I should probably also, just in case... Oh, this might get spicy. I don't have the other stuff out of the way. So... just in case the cars roll too far, I want to make sure that they don't just run into a blockage. And ideally I would like to not put the train onto that siding, but cutting the cars loose and then trying to break them in separately would be very risky, so I think what I'm gonna do is just gonna keep the cars connected and break from the engine. Since that's far heavier than any car anyways and should give me a lot more brake power. But yeah, ideally I would like to It's not gonna work out anymore. I'm stuck in the stupid tender. Ideally, I would have liked to just cut the engine loose and stop it before it goes into the siding alongside the all of the beam cars. Okay, we're just gonna go a bit further ahead. Yeah, we should roll nice and thoroughly into it. Did I have the brake still pulled? Not the worst thing. Okay, this is looking pretty much perfect. I'm gonna assume on the other side it's not too different either. There should be more than enough space. Yep. I mean, the outside is definitely longer, especially since it passes by a few switches before reconnecting. So that's really the longest track that I have right here. But this is working out as well. Okay, the switch is flipped. Oh, the brakes aren't even pulled, so it may have just stopped on its own. It's weird because I had some times in the past where cars would just start rolling on every single 0.5% incline. And now they sometimes stop mid-air, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. Also, while I don't usually do it, I kind of wanted to touch on some other games. I don't really tend to talk about potential competitors of games that I'm playing at the time, but in this case it's actually something positive for Railroads Online. I mean, I'm so happy to be back here. I'm so happy to be doing my stuff as I always like to on the save. It's just the way this has been set up, both in terms of the stuff that I'm doing, but also the challenges the map is giving me. This is perfect in quite a few ways. This is exactly how I want to play this, and I'm really happy with it. So, yeah, while there are already other games out, like Railroader, which has its own pre-made setup based on something that people have been using in real life, some railways that have been set up to be like what you find in the game. Nah, the other way around, the game has been set up with, you know what I mean. When I look at the kind of operations that I see people do there, I often find them kind of tedious and all of that. So it's not something that I'm too interested in. And just seeing the development of Century of Steam, which I'm still highly interested in. While I absolutely expect Century of Steam to be an absolutely great game once it drops, like these coral tons would also be very great if they finally dropped into the skip, but there we go. That's how you do it. When it comes to this save file in particular, this is where I'm still kind of concerned. Because I already know that the devs are going to make their own industry layout, and while potentially maybe later down the line there could be the option to customize it, for the time being, once Century of Steam comes out, we will, while being able to lay our own tracks, we will need to play the industries as the devs have laid them out. And that's kind of a thing that I'm a bit concerned now. Because honestly, I love the kind of challenge I could give myself here, particularly through the reworked industry placement. I know that the COS devs are very thorough with what they are doing. They have shown that already, and I'm pretty sure they are going to consider a lot of different gameplay aspects as well when it comes to their map layout and the industries. They've already talked about some of that stuff in past devlogs on YouTube. It's still that I'm not entirely certain that it will be something that is going to catch my interest the same way that this is doing. And kind of, honestly, even just going to other maps in this game is also the same problem. This map has been set up with a lot of thought and intent, I would say. Particularly when you look at different areas that have been cleaned out and made flat for industries to be placed on. Prime example being the iron mine area right here. This is working perfectly fine and giving a lot of challenge, but also in a good way. And I don't see that with different other stuff in this game, and just seeing what you kind of need to do in Railroader. Yeah, that's another reason why I'm not really looking for other games right now that much. Again, Century of Steam will be most likely a lot better in terms of technical performance, and just how they do things is gonna be more thought out and everything. But right now I'm just not sure if any other game will ever give me anything close to the experience that I was able to do here, to get here, to basically also give myself with what I set up here. And even the other maps, I think a lot of the stuff that I could do here that I find interesting has to do with being able to set up multiple industries close by, but on different height levels. We have the same right here. We have something similar right here with a logging camp on the top ledge, and also the oil field at the bottom of the valley. We have it going on here with the smelter and the refinery, and all of the different things that I built in between them, like the track that's just here for bringing the crude oil up to the smelter from to the refinery, while the train itself is parked at the smelter. And I don't know. I hope they do something like that, but in the end, since I don't really know and I'm not entirely sure how realistic it would be or how fun other people would be seeing this kind of setups, I'm not entirely sure if that's gonna be coming to fruition. Then again, they might have a lot of other things that they can do in order to make that stuff interesting. So we're gonna have to see about that. But for the time being, I'm just happy that I have this to play on. Okay, the coal is almost unloaded. And I'm gonna have to take care of the boxcars and then the rails. The beams are gonna be a different thing. I might just I likely try a rolling unload and put down a safe beforehand. I mean, I might as well rolling unload this here, though it's kinda already done pretty much. Do I have another brake pulled here, or why did I just stop? I mean, I didn't give it much momentum to work with from the get-go. Oh. My bad. Always gotta consider that you might be the idiot in some situation. Which makes playing this game a bit more difficult, because with some of the issues it has, with some of the inconsistencies, you just don't know if it was your fault or somebody else's, but yeah. Okay, that's that being dealt with. I could have flipped the switch from the map, but I wanted to go here. So this is just going to the one siding over here, just with a stopper at the end and not hitting any grades. Just so that if I kick the boxcars into that direction, I know that I'm not kicking them all the way down into the valley. Into the valley of the beast. I should really just be flying around here, that's faster, and I'm getting stuck on less stuff. Okay, didn't I just pull a brake here? Yeah. Okay, now to pull the entire train past the switch over there, which I can barely see right there. That's the indicator. Then I flip it through the map. And yeah, the map definitely has a performance impact, especially once you open it. And just like that, always gotta be careful because the boxcar symbols and, I mean, all the car symbols are not really showing the end of the car, they are showing the middle, and it's not always entirely on point, it seems. Okay, now slowly and gently. Something like this. Pulling back and also moving over to the boxcars. I could have also run this, but it's kind of funny. They now have a decent run speed for... Wait, did one of the switches just flip? I thought I saw one of the indicators move. Now that they finally have a proper run speed for Mr. Railroadsen, so that going anywhere doesn't feel like a total slug, I just usually fly around because that's still faster. Also, you can't really get stuck in cars and all of that. Okay, let's see. Can I unload both of them at once? I kind of want to stay on that car just in case, and yeah, no. Okay, pull the brakes. I could have maybe made it work, but not like this anymore, I'm afraid. And I know I don't need to technically open this. You know what would be nice for these? It's always difficult finding the spot where you can actually unload from. If you could just open the door and then look at the stuff, and that would be the unload thing. But yeah, this should be working. I'm just gonna wait here until that's unloaded. I don't wanna risk it. This definitely... I mean... Listen, there are always ways to do stuff in this game. Some of them might be looking better than others. But that doesn't mean that it's not viable. It's just depending on your aesthetic pain tolerance. And yeah, still the issue with stuff not being the right size when you first get it. Oh, this still counts. Nice. But yeah, the other option would have been that the boxes now roll down or slide down the ramp that I just made. But let this still works. Apparently the the little staircase here still counts as part of the platform. I mean, technically it's part of the same prop, but I didn't know if a detection box here would be working out. But hey, that's all of the boxes being dealt with. Do I still have the brake pulled right here? Yeah, should be getting rid of that. Now it's time to just move the engine back forward again. I should also, yeah, add a bit more fuel into the mix. I mean, as long as the, you know what, we have it, why not use it? As long as we don't reach 0 fire temperature, then we should be alright. Okay, need to give it a bit more of the beans. The beans! Okay, that should be enough. I mean, it doesn't make that much sense to toggle the switch here, because after all, I still need to disconnect the cars. Otherwise, I would be in the way of the box, the stake cars here. I could have maybe also unloaded a few of the rails at the same time. But, well, I don't always think about everything. And Jesus Christ, this has been a long episode already. I always know that this kind of stuff takes very long. Longer than you think. But I didn't expect it to be at 30 minutes already. But yeah, let's just pull the brake, and of course it's gonna pull one of the cars apart. But at least right in time so that I can do this. Yeah, the brakes have definitely not improved over the past few updates. They have been made way too strong a while ago, and I think they may have tuned it down a tiny bit, but it's still gonna do the whole thing if you're not careful. I wasn't careful in that moment, and therefore, yeah, it did the thing. And again, while I stand by what I said about my save here, my playthrough and all of that, I do enjoy it. But I also do not forget that playing this game requires a high pain tolerance. Maybe not go for the last one, maybe not go for this one either, but this one should be good. And yeah, I made sure to include a few of these things here just to be able to... Okay, I need to split this after all. I cannot get all the cars right here. I really should have unloaded some of rail cars right here now with while everything was in place for the tools, and then gone on from that. Where was I? I don't know. Which brake did I pull? This one. While I absolutely enjoy the playthrough that I do here, the stuff that I set up for myself, the game itself, still far from perfect, and it will always be that. And yeah, I set up the little wood rigs right here, the ones without any wood generation, just as dividers, so that if I happen to unload stuff somewhere in the middle, if any part of that good, especially something as long as the beams, hit the boundary box where it would accept the rails, it would delete the beam. So these things not only give me a clear indication of how far I can go with different goods, but also if I go somewhere in the middle, it's just gonna not let the wrong side touch the stuff, so it makes that work out a bit better. Ideally, if I had to say to this entire topic, I would do things a tiny bit different. Because what's happening right now is that, and I'm gonna take care that I also do the unloading in the meantime. Oh, this is spicy. Should be alright. And here we got all of them unloaded, especially the last one here. That was a bit tight. The problem right now is that whenever a good hits one of those boundary boxes to accept something, if it's not the correct thing that it's expecting, if I, for example, go with the beams into the rails area, it's going to delete them. Gonna happen just as quick as if you did the drop-off correctly, but you're not gonna get paid, the industry's not gonna get the item, it's just gonna cease to exist. And yeah, that's a bit of a problem, that's a bit harsh, That's like a Dark Souls like punishment if we wanna look at it like that and yeah, be a bit more jokingly about it. But really, what I think should happen, if something hits the deck and it's not the thing that was expected by the industry at that location, it should just leave it there. All the items have an auto despawn timer, which is just a few seconds longer. So if something lands partially between the two platforms and the one thing tries to pick it up beforehand or before the other one, then just leaving it there would give the correct item box the choice and the opportunity to pick it up. So then it would be delivered and that would be all good and everything. And after all, unless it's something specific, like for example the little boxes here for the coal, if it's just a platform and the one good lands over here, for example, let's say I end up unloading the tools right here. In reality, to be realistic, do you think anybody who would be working for that industry would be giving two shits about that? Like telling the loco engineer, hey, you unloaded this wrong, you need to go 10 meters further that direction, take your stuff back. Or even worse than that, just, it's in the wrong location by a few meters, chuck it off the cliff. Or would they just take it to where it needs to go? So yeah, if the whole deletion thing wasn't the case, they could also just stretch out these boundary boxes so that all the goods are accepted all over the platform, no matter at which end. If you have like multiple separate platforms, like for the refinery or other similar things, the smelter, etc., I think that's fair enough. But for something like this, where stuff shares a platform, it should be able to accept everything that it needs to all over it. Maybe not the coal, because once again, that's its own kind of good that needs a separate type of storage. But everything that could come on a huge variety of stuff, like the rails, anything that needs to go into a regular boxcar, why not? But yeah, that's just my rant for the day, I guess. Thanks to coming to my TED Talk. And we're almost done unloading this stuff. And yeah, I think at this point it might be also a good idea to end the episode. I guess the next time I'll be doing the rest of the unloading here. I'll turn the engine around and I'll get you back once I'm at the point where I need to reassemble the train and bring it back down. I think that would be a good idea for the next episode. I also want to show you guys how the whole iron ore supply run works, but yeah, that might be a thing for afterwards because the yard over here is not large enough and I had this entire train loaded up and kind of blocking the paths anyways, so this needed to be taken care of beforehand. But hey, we are pretty much done here. Thanks for watching and see you next time. I hope you enjoyed, have a good one and bye bye.